Today, the iPhone 15 Pro Max is shooting it out against the Huawei Mate 60 Pro. I took over 400 photos in beautiful San Francisco at 10 iconic landmarks. We start our tour at the Golden Gate Bridge. Both phones have a 0.5 times ultra-wide. The images are very similar. The Huawei shows slightly more detail in the shadows and slightly more detail overall when we pixel peep. Now we go on to the 1x main camera. Again, the Huawei shows slightly better HDR and more detail when we look closely. Next, we jump to the 3.5 optical zoom on the Huawei and compare it to the 2x cropped image on the iPhone. The cropped image just can't compare to the detail and clarity of the optical zoom. Finally, we jump to the new 5x telephoto on the iPhone. The Mate can only use digital zoom at this range. Unsurprisingly, the iPhone destroys the Mate. These are the shots this new iPhone was made for. Let's compare the optical telephoto with video. iPhone is clearer and more detailed. Viewfinder stabilization makes the Mate hard to shoot handheld. Now, let's go all the way to 10x digital zoom. iPhone dominates despite the lower telephoto sensor resolution. Here's the iconic landscape view of the Golden Gate Bridge with the main cameras. Huawei struggles with the fog and the entire image looks washed out. Here's the 3.5x optical zoom versus the 5x optical zoom. The hazy Huawei image is even more obvious. Here's a side-by-side of the ultra-wide video. The iPhone has slightly clearer video. Win for the iPhone. Let's go to the Bay Bridge to test night mode. The Huawei controls the highlights better, but stays shooting for much longer. It also shows longer motion trails. The iPhone's new telephoto 3D sensor shift makes a difference. This is night mode with the 5x optical zoom on iPhone and 5x digital zoom on the Mate. The iPhone controls the highlights better and has more detail this time. Win for the iPhone again. Number 3. Time for some food at Mel's Drive-In. This is an optical zoom comparison. iPhone controls the highlights and presents a more pleasant image. Here's a main camera comparison. The iPhone wins despite its wider focal length. You can see the text is much sharper. Another win for the iPhone. Landmark number 4, the beautiful Palace of Fine Arts. This is another night mode test. The Huawei is very aggressive and shows dark areas lit up like day. It's amazing, but feels very unnatural. Here's a night shot on the main cameras. The Huawei brightens the image more, but the magenta color in the image is just bizarre. Hey, there's people singing. Perfect for a mic test. Another win for the iPhone. Stop number 5, we're halfway there. The beautiful Legion of Honor. It's getting mighty foggy. Here's a few shots. And again, the Huawei struggles with the fog and all the images are all washed out. Win for the iPhone. Stop 6, Lombard Street, the crookedest street in San Francisco. Here's some 4K video. The iPhone, as usual, produces slightly sharper video. Here's time-lapse to show cars weaving. iPhone only captures 1080, but Huawei only allows very long intervals. Unusable. Win again for the iPhone. Stop 7, everyone's favorite, Fisherman's Wharf. Like before, the images are all very similar, with iPhone being sharper on the longer zooms, especially on this shot of far-off Alcatraz. The iPhone also shows slightly sharper videos. For selfie vlog videos, the Huawei shows better stabilization and sharper video. On these extreme close-up and macro shots, the Huawei is much better due to the higher resolution of the tele and ultra-wide sensors. Here's 2 max resolution shots. On extreme close-up inspection, the iPhone's RAW Max format has much more detail. We've got a draw! Stop number 8. When you come to San Francisco, gotta see the cable cars. Both cameras do a nice job, and here I used the X-Mage feature to make the colors more vivid on Huawei. Another draw! Stop number 9. Downtown San Francisco. Our trip is almost over. Here's two shots of the iconic Transamerica Pyramid. Both cameras capture it well. Here's one of the most epic shots in San Francisco at Stockton in California. Simply magnificent, and the extra compression of the 5x tele just makes it even better on the iPhone. Win for the iPhone. Last stop, Land's End. We head all the way across the city for the perfect sunset viewpoint. The Huawei struggles a bit with the difficult lighting of golden hour, but the iPhone just nails it. And finally, we finish with a beautiful sunset time-lapse. iPhone wins this round too. One more thing, here's a preview of my portrait comparison between these phones coming soon. So overall, looks like the 5x telephoto lens for the iPhone 15 Pro Max is a game changer. iPhone won this scenic camera test.